In this beginner's guide, I'm going to be discussing the parry mechanic in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I am intending for this guide to be for new players, so I will be discussing what a parry is and how to perform one, as well as give you some tips and advice on when you should be performing a parry. So just to start things off, you perform a parry by holding down your shield button and releasing your shield as soon as a hitbox hits the edge of your shield. And by hitbox, I mean a move, right? Whether that's a projectile or a melee hit or a sword hit, whatever it is, right? So I'll go ahead and show you an example of that right now. So as you see right there, as soon as Sora's fireball hit the edge of my shield, I released my shield and I was able to perform the parry. So doing a parry is as simple as that, but there are a few things to keep in mind. Is that in order to do the parry, not only do you need to release the shield when the parry hits the edge of your shield, but remembering that the edge of your shield is very important. Because if you notice, as I hold my shield over here on the right, it's getting smaller and smaller, right? So if you don't know anything about the shield mechanic in Smash Ultimate, I'll post my beginner's guide for the shield mechanic in the description of this video. But with the shield, if you get hit while shielding or you hold it, it will shrink, right? So that means for the parry mechanic, as your shield gets smaller and smaller, when you go to parry something, you have to remember that you parry it at the edge of your shield, right? So when your shield's larger, right, that means you can parry the attack when it's not as close to your body, right? But as your shield gets smaller and smaller, you're going to have to let the attack get ever so closer to your body just because the shield is smaller and therefore the edge of your shield. The reason you want to parry with the edge of your shield by releasing it when the move is about to hit your edge of your shield, right, is because if you don't, I'll show you here, it'll just act like a regular block, right? Like if I hold my shield too long and then try to release it, right, just like right there, my person just blocks it instead, so it won't perform the parry. So why do you want to do a parry versus other defensive options, such as just regularly shielding or dodging, right? Whether that's a spot dodge or a roll. If you don't know about rolls and spot dodges or air dodges in this game, I'll also post a link to my dodge mechanic guide for beginners in the description of this video. And if you have a counter, right, you can use counters too. That's a special move. So why would you want to do a parry over these other options? Well, that's really your call, and it depends on how the flow of the battle is going. But a benefit of the parry is that you have the most time to react afterwards, or you have the most time, rather, to do something afterwards, right? So let's say I wanted to dodge a move by doing a dodge roll, right? Because you get iframes during the dodge roll. You can do that, right? Or if you simply wanted to shield the move, you can also do that. However, the time in which you can act after this roll or this shield is longer than if you performed a parry, right? So if you perform a parry, you can basically instantly parry someone's move and potentially get a very large punish on them, right, by following up with one of your own moves because your character can react so fast after that parry. So that's the major benefit of doing a parry, is that you can move your character much faster after you do that defensive option and therefore get a punish on your opponent. Another reason why you may want to do a parry is that as your shield does get smaller and smaller, right, as you see as it goes away from my head and my feet, if someone were to hit me with a move on my head and my feet right there with my shield getting smaller, they could actually still hit me. But you can still parry though. So I'm not sure if it's because how the hitboxes work or what, but as your shield gets smaller, parries can still be very reliable even if the rest of your body isn't protected by your shield. So if someone is putting a lot of shield pressure on you, right, and they think that you're going to be forced to dodge roll because your shield will be broken if they keep hitting your shield, right, and you can't put it up, well, you can surprise them with a parry if you are confident and turn the tables on them because you can get a follow-up after the parry. Another reason to do a parry is that if you kept someone spamming away at your shield, right, like let's say they have some rapid jab, right, or in Sora's case right here, he has his 3-hit combo, right. What you can actually do, for example, is like you could block, so with Sora's 3-hit move right there, you could actually block the first two and then drop your shield on the last one to perform the parry mechanic, right? So you can basically block the first 2 hits and then parry the third and follow up with your own punish, right? Or if you want to, you can even parry if it's like a a rapid jab move, right, where they keep punching multiple times, because a parry doesn't interrupt their animation, right? It's not like you parry and it stops their animation, right? It's just that you parry and you block that hit and then you can act afterwards. But be warned, if you parry a rapid jab, right, you parry just one of the rapid jabs, well, if they're still rapid jabbing, they're just going to end up hitting you, right? Because even though your character can react fast after the move, their rapid jabs are going to be faster, right? So you're still going to get hit, right? So parries are for like parrying one single hit. However, if you're very good at the parry, you can parry back to back to back to back to back, right? So you can keep dropping and or raising and dropping your shield. So that's something called a instant parry, or that's what I call it anyways, and I'll show it to you right here. Let me see if I can do it. So I am using two controllers at the same time, but I should be able to do it here. Yeah, so right there, as you see, I waited until the very last moment for Sora's fireball to get close to me before even raising my shield, and then I instantly raised my shield and instantly let it go to perform the parry. That's another way that you can do a parry, because it can surprise your opponent because they think that you're not going to be shielding or anything, and then suddenly you do a parry and you get a punish on them, right? Or you can do some type of follow-up or movement option. But yeah, with that instant shield and release, you can actually parry multiple hits at the same time, because remember that a parry only parries one thing at a time, but you can do it back to back to back, so you can parry their first hit, their second, and their third, right? But that's just going to take practice. So yeah, there's all the tips and tricks and how-tos on the parries. Over time, just, you know, practice it and it'll become like second nature, and you'll just start parrying things without even really thinking about it. But of course, you always want to be very deliberate with your moves. But yes, it will become like second nature and be much easier, especially as you learn the characters' timings and their actual hitboxes and how fast their moves come out.